Hi, Todd's back, sir. I'm going to pay you the highest of compliments. I spent, I feel like, just south of 20 years with Joe Cupo, who was famous
my
for,
mentor, by the way.
yeah, one of my heroes as well. Just famous for the sports officer, the weather officer, joined by a wall.
I remember.
So a lot of noise would come from the other side of that wall.
Yeah,
I mean, some epic stories that I could tell
Sure.
we don't have time for. That was close.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that was close. It was tame by comparison, but it was in the same ilk of what Mr. Cupo said as the precedent
could
for
have lost.
what do you do when the computer crashes. And
punch it.
You handled it well.
That's how Joey
I
would
won't
have
say
handled
he
it.
always handled it very well, but sometimes it was a cleanup at aisle 5.
I mean, it's just like, why now? Like, why, as the storm is bearing down on us, and I just need things to. They wonder why they call me Grumpy Guttner sometimes, right?
I don't know if they do.
They do.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
And
if they do.
it's because of that computer right
I feel like
there.
it's clear,
The
actually.
computers. The computers.
Yeah, there you go. That's
As
much
Joey
better.
would
The
say.
second one's better. No R on that. Don't put an R on the end
That's
of that.
right. That's right. He would never have done that. Good morning, all. Let's get started with some cold temperatures. Thursday morning, 19 Portland, 14 Lewiston, Augusta's 20. We do have a few single digits, Freiburg into Berlin, New Hampshire. Eastern Maine, low 20s coastline, teens inland, Bangor's 14, Orono's 18, Herman's 13. And we also have teens up north, but just barely. In fact, Holton is now 9 and still dropping. High pressure's right over us. We're actually going to squeeze out one more quiet day. Clouds will be on the increase, and then these two storms will merge. This storm is actually blowing up on us. It's going through some serious development, and it's going to suck this low back into it instead of the other way around, which usually happens in the wintertime. And that's why the track is going to stay inland, and we are going to be on the warmer side of it, which means a lot of rain and wind. Wind has a better chance to get to us when things are warmer. Mostly clear and bright for your Thursday morning commute. There is some frost out there, and in some spots it is thick. You probably have to scrape. Sun fading during the middle of the day as clouds form and roll in. It's still quiet and tranquil though, and our temperatures recover nicely after this cold start. During the afternoon and evening, it's cloudy, but we're still precip free, so no commuting issues for the evening commute. Although rain and snow showers will be arriving by about midnight. There's the line working in. That's 10 o'clock tonight. Highs in the upper 30s coast, mid 30s inland, 20s in the mountains. Still not looking at a lot of wind today, although this afternoon and evening it'll begin to pick up. And overnight tonight it'll start to crank. By tomorrow morning you'll be hearing it. Okay, we pick up the story at midnight tonight. Snow for the foothills and mountains, rain for the coastline. Tomorrow morning, during the commute, especially from Wiscasset south into New Hampshire, this is our first chance to get blasted by some wind and heavy rain. Notice it's still snow up in the mountains where we're going to pick up some accumulation on the front end. But by the middle of the day, we flip over to rain. The heavy rain starts to translate up the coastline, and strong winds do too. Things quiet down midday in the Portland area. There'll be a second wave of rain, though, with the front itself. And this will also be accompanied by some very gusty wind out of the southwest after the frontal passage. So we have two chances to get big wind gusts tomorrow morning and again tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then we will clear out, and we are going to see those temperatures nosedive with a flash freeze by Saturday morning, which will also present some problems. The snow on the front end, about 6 inches for the higher elevations. And then we go to rain and warmer temperatures and lose that 6 inches. But hopefully the net is like, no loss, no gain, and we can maintain most of the snowpack. So here are those gusty winds tomorrow morning, 60-ish mile per hour gusts, and we'll likely see gusts between 60 and 70 miles per hour with the front itself after it passes, because we're going to get better mixing with that southwest wind direction. It'll still be breezy overnight on Friday and into Saturday, but at least crews can go out and we won't see additional power outages. Also worried about the coastline. Timing doesn't look great for that first wave of heavy winds in the morning with the high tide for southern Maine's coastline. That's why there's a coastal flood warning here. We've got the highest tides of the month, onshore winds, and huge waves out in the Gulf of Maine. There is potential for flooding along the coastline in vulnerable areas, and also for some road closures too. So again, a lot on our plate tomorrow. Storm warning, seas 3 to 5, southeast winds 10 to 20. Here's the 7-day increase in clouds today with highs in the 30s. Tomorrow, little bit of snow early for the foothills and mountains, and then it's heavy rain, very windy through the day, highs around 50. Look at how far those temperatures drop. By Saturday morning, we are in the teens, 20s for afternoon highs. Christmas Day in the 20s, looks bright though, and then early next week, quiet weather, mostly sunny, and temperatures start to creep back up, but still pretty cold next week too. Hopefully the power outages don't last long, but there will be quite a few of them, so there's potential for that.
And I feel like I'm going to say this all morning, but thank you in advance to the crews that are going to end up working Christmas Eve, probably Christmas Day, doing what they have to get the power on. Obviously, the rest of us appreciate that.
And I heard you mention how they're already kind of getting in place, about 300 crews or something like that. You could see them, getting in their strategic spots yesterday. I saw a few out and, parking themselves in a couple of towns. So.
And they're going to miss all the time with their families that we're all spending with ours. Anyway, thank you in
be
advance
kind
for
to
all
them,
that. Yeah,
right?
please. All right.